Warning, you're going to break your heart. A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. Part 1, Chapter 1. Maryam was 5 years old the first time she heard the word harami. It happened on a Thursday. It must have, because Maryam remembered that she had been restless and preoccupied that day, the way she was only on Thursdays, the day when Jalil visited her at the Kolba, to pass the time until the moment that she would see him at last, crossing the knee-high grass in the clearing and waving. Maryam had climbed a chair and taken down her mother's Chinese tea set. The tea set was the sole relic that Maryam's mother Nana had of her own mother, who had died when Nana was 2. Nana cherished each blue and white porcelain piece, the graceful curve of the boat spout, the hand-painted finches and chrysanthemums, the dragon on the sugar bowl, meant to ward off evil. It was this last piece that slipped from Mariam's fingers, that fell to the wooden floorboards of the kolba and shattered. When Nana saw the ball, her face flushed red and her upper lip shivered, and her eyes, both the lazy one and the good one, settled on Mariam in a flat, unblinking way. Nana looked so mad that Mariam feared the jinn would enter her mother's body again. But the jinn didn't come. Not that time. Instead, Nana grabbed Mariam by the wrist, pulled her close, and through gritted teeth, said, "You are a clumsy little harami. This is my reward for everything I have endured. An heirloom breaking clumsy little harami." At that time, Mariam did not understand. She did not know what this word harami bastard meant. Nor was she old enough to appreciate the injustice, to see that it is the creators of the harami who are culpable, not the harami, whose only sin is being born. Maryam did surmise by the way Nana said the word that it was an ugly loathsome thing to be a harami, like an insect, like the cockroaches. Nana was always cursing and sweeping out of the kolba. Later, when she was older, Maryam did understand. It was the way Nana uttered the word, not so much saying it as spitting it at her, that made Maryam feel the full sting of it. She understood then what Nana meant, that a harami was an unwanted thing, that she, Maryam, was an illegitimate person who would never have legitimate claim to the things other people had, things such as love, family, home, acceptance. Jalil never called Maryam this name. Jalil said she was his little flower. He was fond of sitting her on his lap and telling her stories, like the time he told her that Herat, the city where Maryam was born in 1959, had once been the cradle of Persian culture, the home of writers, painters, and Sufis. "You couldn't stretch a leg here without poking a poet in the ass," he laughed. Jalil told her the story of Queen Goharshad, who had raised the famous minarets as her loving ode to Herat back in the 15th century. He described to her the green wheat fields of Herat, the orchards, the vine pregnant with plum grapes, the city's crowded, welted bazaars. "There is a pistachio tree," Jalil said one day, "and beneath it, Maryam Jo is buried, none other than the great poet Jami." He leaned in and whispered, "Jami lived over 500 years ago." "He did. I took you there once, to the tree. You were little. You won't remember." It was true. Maryam didn't remember, and though she would live the first 15 years of her life within walking distance of Herat, Maryam would never see the storied tree. She would never see the famous minarets up close, and she would never pick fruits from Herod's orchard or stroll in its field of wheat. But whenever Jalil talked like this, Maryam would listen with enchantment. She would admire Jalil for his vast and worldly knowledge, She would quiver with pride to have a father who knew such things. What rich lies, Nana said after Jalil left. Rich man telling rich lies. He never took you to any tree, and don't let him charm you. He betrayed us, your beloved father. He cast us out. He cast us out of his big fancy house like we were nothing to him. He did it happily. Mariam will listen dutifully to this. She never dared to say to Nana how much she disliked her talking this way about Jalil. The truth was that around Jalil, Mariam did not feel at all like a harami. For an hour or two every Thursday, when Jalil came to see her, all smiles and gifts and endearments, Mariam felt deserving of all the beauty and bounty that life had to give. And for this, Mariam loved Jalil, even if she had to share him. Jalil had 3 wives and 9 children, 9 legitimate children, all of whom were strangers to Mariam. He was one of Herod's wealthiest men. He owned a cinema, which Mariam had never seen, but at her insistence Jalil had described it to her, and so she knew that the facade was made of blue and tan terracotta tiles, that it had private balcony seats, and a trellised ceiling. Double swinging doors opened into a tiled lobby, where posters of Hindi films were encased in great displays. On Thursdays, Jalil said one day, kids got free ice cream at the concession stand. Nana smiled demurely when he said this. She waited until he had left the kolpa before snickering and saying, the children of strangers get ice cream. What do you get, Mariam? Stories of ice cream? In addition to the cinema, Jalil owned land in Karo, land in Farah, 3 carpet stores, a clothing shop, and a black 1956 Buick Roadmaster. He was one of Harrod's best connected men, friend of the mayor and the provincial governor. He had a cook, a driver, and 3 housekeepers. Nana had been one of the housekeepers until her belly began to swell. When that happened, Nana said the collective gasp of Jalil's family sucked the air out of Harrod. His in-laws swore blood would flow. The wives demanded that he throw her out. Nana's own father, who was a lowly stone carver in the nearby village of Guldaman, disowned her. Disgraced, he packed his things and boarded a bus to Iran, never to be seen or heard from again. Sometimes, Nana said early one morning, as she was feeding the chickens outside the kolba, I wish my father had had the stomach to sharpen one of his knives and do the honorable things. It might have been better for me. She tossed another handful of seeds into the coop, paused and looked at Miriam. Better for you too, maybe. It would have spared you the grief of knowing that you are what you are. But he was a coward, my father. He didn't have the dil, the heart for it. Jalil didn't have the heart either. Nana said to do the honorable thing, to stand up to his family, to his wives and in-laws, and accept responsibility for what he had done. Instead, behind closed doors, a face-saving deal had quickly been struck. The next day, he had made her gather her few things from the servants' quarters where she had been living and sent her off. You know what he told his wives by the way of defense? That I forced myself on him, that it was my fault, Didi. You see, this is what it means to be a woman in this world. Nana put down the ball of chicken feed. She lifted Miriam's chin with a finger. Look at me, Miriam. Reluctantly, Miriam did. Nana said, learn this now, and learn it well, my daughter. Like a compass needle that points north, a man's accusing finger always finds a woman. Always. You remember that, Miriam?